That impresses me every time I see it
Oh yeah.
because I could never do it. I'd have to hold a cartoon picture up here and say, "Look at my."
Well, I've made you a couple.
Yeah, I know it's a good thing you did because I don't know how.
Ah, ain't that hard.
Well,
That's a good idea. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get a little post-it note booklet and do the little stick figure drawing and then flip it in front of the camera. And it's
Jerry has little flip pages. You'd have little shrimp swimming back and forth.
Yeah.
One stop, hold up a sign that says "I love shrimp," and then go on.
Yep.
there you
Hey,
go.
wait a minute, I could design that. I think.
I'm trying to
Hey,
learn all
Nona.
that stuff, man.
There's old Sketty Nona.
How's it going, Sarah?
Anymore, I just cheat. If I got an idea, I either ask Mike or I just send my son a message. Hey, Mister Computer Guy, do
I
this.
thought that was going to be with my kids. I figured they would help me out that way when, especially my youngest, when he first got me into, doing a channel. I figured, yeah, they're going to figure out they're going to know Twitch and, Discord, and they're going to know all of that stuff because they're in it. They're doing it. No, they don't help me for nothing.
Hi, Grady. There's Uncle Smiley.
And my son actually made my little emblem, and then my wife took it and fixed it.
That I've sent you a couple.
Well, she's a little craftier than I am.
Mhm.
I mean, I could weld the car door back on, but
Right.
you don't want me sitting in front of a computer doing animation or nothing.
That's what's frustrating is I can program a CNC machine to throw a part, very complex part, complete, but trying to figure out how to do the stuff on my computer to get my graphics the way I'm like, man.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to say that I did my logo. I hand drew that shrimp many years ago, and then I scanned it and put it in my computer, and then I traced it in Illustrator, and then I made it an eye in my logo, and then I slowly edited it and cleaned it up and compacted it, and it is what it is now. But that's like years of evolution of me doing it the hard way.
Yeah.
Pixel by pixel.
Right. I've made Skull a couple new logos, different ones.
Yeah. We were talking before the stream about your resurgence because you kind
I'll
of
be right back, guys.
backed away a little bit, got refocused.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things that when I moved from the house that I was at and then temporarily moved to the shop with Jason,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like soon after that, a couple of months after that, he decided he was going to sell the shop and move out to Graham. And so I had everything in storage thinking it was going to be a temporary thing. Well, it ended up we had to move out of that place and we got this house, and I pretty much lost everything in the transition because I couldn't hook up my RO unit to the new faucets. It's totally different adapter sizes and thread sizes.
That's
So I almost gave up, and I went to Aquashella. I wasn't a judge. I didn't have a booth or anything. I think that was the last time I saw Jess at Aquashella. And I kind of was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then I took over the room that was supposed to be my son's, and it just took off from there. And I started filling up tanks and kind of just doing it for me. And I started off with very few shrimp. Luckily, Grant and them donated me some shrimp from the shrimp contest from that Aquashella. It was 2023.
Yeah.
And I put them in my tanks, and now I have thousands of shrimp, and all my tanks are I'm doing a bunch of stuff, having a great time, and so that's why I started doing videos again. I just wanted to share it. I know some of the stuff I do is probably a little bit wacky, and most people might not do it or try it, but everything to me from what I've been doing, and I've been keeping aquariums for like ever since I was a kid,
Yeah.
but it's kind of all of my experience put together, and it's working. It makes my life easy. I'll put it that way. My life
If it
is
ain't
so much
broke,
easier.
don't fix it.
I'm enjoying my aquarium so much. And if I have to do a new one and tear it down and reset it, it's no longer a chore. It's kind of like, oh, I get to do a new one. Woohoo! You know, and I go do it, and it's like, wow, it's amazing. It's so much easier.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Agreed.
Now, we talked earlier about the filter boxes. That's the big
Yeah.
change. That's the big change I've seen you do.
Yes.
Got away from sponge filters and the stratum and the normal way people do it.
It's kind of one of those things. I mean, Jason used to think I was kind of crazy when I told him, I said, I want to try those filter boxes and fill them with substrate, you know, and just see if those work. And I did it at the shop several years back.
Mhm.
And I was just testing the theory, but I really liked under gravel filters. And I was looking at the Asian under gravel filtration system that's so popular and trending,
Yeah.
you know. And I was like, I don't want to have to build a glass box or modify my aquarium or, you know,
Just
I don't
go
wanna
on
do that.
Amazon and order one.
yeah, or, you know, and those little filter things you get for the boxes are like $17 just for one of those little filter
Mhm.
trays. And I was like, well, if I'm going to go through the trouble of making my own thing and this and that, why don't I just use under gravel filtration? But I think with under gravel filtration, just that alone is not really. It doesn't lend itself for a lot of maintenance and resets.
Right.
It's something you want to set and forget,
Mhm.
Yep.
you know. And what I've learned is that the resets is what's keeping my colonies just growing. Even with my clown killifish, if I reset a tank and put them in there, put a pair in there, they start having babies. I don't know what it is.
Well, that's the thing with under gravel filters. A lot of people clean them too much. They work best when you just leave them alone.
Well, and that's the other thing. If you've used under gravel filters, you can tell if you have too much substrate or it's too compact because the flow between the two sides will vary. You'll see
Right.
the water pushing back and forth.
Mhm.
So I started thinking about that because I set up a couple of tanks with under gravel filters, and I noticed that was happening. So I was thinking, so what happens when you put that system in a box and put 6 inches of substrate on top of it? How effective is that? So it made me think maybe it's not such an effective way to do it, but the filter box gives you that flow all the way throughout it and still buffers your water. So I tried it with peat moss first, and then I tried it with substrate, fluval, and now I've just gone to, I like the fluval because it's easy and it's available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not that dirty. When I change, peat moss is dirty when you change it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a reason why it tannins your water. It's got
Yes.
it's got a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah, and it works great. I used to do it. I had a Blackwater tank. That's what I did. Is I put a bunch of peat moss in bags and put it underneath my substrate and sand.
It was a lot easier that way with a box filter.
Yes, that's the main thing. For what I'm doing, it works because it's easy to clean. It's quick. I really just do top offs. If I want to, I get the detritus on the bottom of the glass in the front. And then when I do resets, it's really easy. You pull out the box, put a new one in, clean out the box. I have a little flower bed, rock garden that I throw all of my old substrate in out in the yard.
It's probably growing like crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Fish water and stratum.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Everything
yeah,
in there is going to grow like
And I've just been having
mad.
so much fun doing it. You know, it's so much fun that being stable for the first time in a while. This is the first time I've been at in an address for 2 years since the house fire. And so the past 5 years has just been constantly moving, constantly resetting, rebuilding. So it's nice to not be rebuilding as much as just building.
I forgot about your house fire because you lost almost everything then.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
I
happening.
mean, everything I owned was in my truck when I drove up to Ohio to go work at Flip Aquatics.
Hey Jody,
Yeah, I forgot about that. So you've lost everything basically twice at least.
Yes. You know, and then I come back home finally. I make it back home, and then I have open heart surgery. And that was another major setback.
I remember that happened.
yeah, me too.
It's been fun.
I don't know. That's how I describe it.
It's welcome to the 50s on steroids.
Hey Christine,
Yeah. So
like I said, but like I said before, it's hell getting old.
A little bit.
Yeah, that's why we do things like this to keep it fun.
Pretty much.
I get to play with my shrimp, and it's so much fun. Like I said, starting off with so few shrimp and then building to what I have now. Like my PRLs, I love them because I have so many of them, and I have so many different. Like, should I focus on these with the red legs, or these with the white legs, or these that are really red, or these that are really white? So that gets to be so much fun just with one strain of shrimp that I have spread out in 6 tanks now.
I really like your black ones too, though.
Yeah, the black galaxies are awesome. I'm having fun with those too.
The black galaxies are special.
Yeah. And I've gotten some metallics out of them now. That's the ones that produce the yellow shrimp or the golden shrimp.
Hey Adele.
Blue steels. Hi, Zan.
Oh, Zinger's in here. Oh, there she is.
Zinny.
Anyone enjoying wings, nachos, tacos? I was earlier. I was sitting there at my buddy's house. We were getting ready to start snacking to watch the game and everything. And then I got the text. And I was like, I'm streaming tonight.
Probably a good thing I reminded you then, huh, Jerry?
Yeah. It totally slipped my mind. So I was like, all right, I'm going to munch and then see what's going on. And then I'm going home to go stream.
Well, you're not missing much. It's a one-sided game. So.
Yeah. But the last time I remember watching a Super Bowl years back that was a one-sided game that was not in Vegas's best interest. I remember they had halftime and then the other team came back
And
and
stomp their butt.
all of a sudden the flags flew for every little thing. Too much excessive sneezing on the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many leapfrogs.
That's
Yeah.
why I like everybody says the Super Bowl is good for eating and commercials. The rest of it, who cares?
Pretty much.
Eating
But
and
lately the commercials have kind of been, they're not as good as they used to be.
Yeah, but they've kind of changed it now.
yeah, they used to be the best part.
I mean, all of the weather. Those were good.
Right.
All of the Bud Light or the Bud Bowl commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were good times.
Yeah, then all the Clydesdale commercials used to have.
Normally, I do have wings though, or some. I usually make my own wings, just to snack and watch the game and see what's up. I'm a Cowboys fan, or I was.
Well,
You know, I grew up a Cowboys fan, so I haven't enjoyed the Super Bowl in favor of the Cowboys in 30 years?
or more.
Yeah.
My secretary is a huge fan, and I got to mess with her all the time about, hey, you want to come over and watch the Cowboys playoff game? I got a new VCR. She gets all upset.
You're not talking about me vibes. I know you're not. I appreciate it though. I wish. I'm just little old me.
I don't know, are you going to get any more strains, or are you going to just stick with the ones you got?
Well, I'm in the process. I'm going to build a new rack because I need more room, and I figure I want to try because I was talking to Rob Bloomfield from Shrimp Envy.
Yeah.
They make the foods, and I was telling him about everything that's going on. I don't know if I'm lucky. I don't know if it's what I'm doing or how I'm doing it, but my colonies are exploding. And so he was saying that he noticed that when you take colonies from your own tanks and move them to new tanks, you usually do see them, continue to breed and breed more.
Yeah.
He said where he runs into problems is when he imports strains or new strains, sometimes it takes a while for them to get going before they start producing. So I was like, well, now I want to see. I want to test that. And since I haven't bought shrimp in I don't know how long now, I'd kind of like to see and find some nice shrimp and spend a little money and get them in my tanks and see if it makes a difference or not.
Well, Grant and Shelby sure got a ton of them.
Yeah, they do. But that's where I think is so. Like, do I have to get imported shrimp to really test it, or do I have to get shrimp that somebody else has been raising? How far removed from my waters do they have to be?
That's a good question.
Yeah, and it's something, it gives me something to play with at least, at least something to experiment around and see if does it make a difference or not. Who knows? But I like trying to figure out why or why not something works or doesn't work. That was why I started breeding clown killifish, because Jason, when he had his fish room and he was breeding killifish like left and right, he had all his little tubs and he was pulling eggs and he was selling the little mops and everything. And I asked him about
Craig Bonoski.
And he said, he was like, I haven't been able to breed those. And I was like, well, I'm going to try. And so I started trying. Now I can breed clown killifish pretty regularly.
I think Craig got his first rainbow fry.
Awesome. Those are cool.
Now, Curtis, on them green dragon fry I've got, I got some that are the white. I've got one in here that is the green with white fins.
I don't know where you're getting those from, because none of mine are that way.
But I've got leucistics that are snow white. I've got albinos, regulars, and long fins. And then there's like 3 that are the green dragons with white fins.
Well, I would separate them just like you
I
do.
plan on it.
Just like you do shrimp. Separate them out and make you another line.
That's what I'm going to do.
You'll get just as much money for the white ones as you will the green ones,
Oh, yeah.
especially because they're long fin.
Yeah. But snow dragons, and then
So
just, I don't know what these other ones are. I just seen that 3 of them ones today. They're just the green dragons with the white fins on them. I'm like, where the hell did these come from?
that weirdo in Kansas.
Yeah, on the other side of Kansas.
That weirdo.
I ought to send a picture of one of them to Greg Sage and say, hey, what's this all about?
He gets them too. He told me he gets them, but I've never got them.
Well, I'm at the green dragon with the white fins. Greg, have you ever had these?
He'll answer you.
Oh, I know he will.
So are all of those tanks like 10 gallons, Jerry?
Most of them, yes. I have a couple of 20s, and I have more. I have a bunch of aquariums sitting in my garage that need to be used, but I just really wanted to do. I did the 5 gallons mainly for my clown killifish, and I had a whole different concept when I first started the room. But yeah, now it's mostly 10 gallons. I just like that. I've gotten used to the 10-gallon size. Comfortable with it. Very comfortable with it.
I've
I
got
don't know.
probably a dozen of them just sitting around under my stands of 10 gallons, and I'm thinking, maybe I need to set them up. The 10-gallon rack's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Did you get your other rack yet, Curtis?
I got it in the other room. I've been playing with lights. I've been playing with lights and hoods and stuff this weekend. I'm
So you just
determined
gotta
not. I'm determined not to buy a freaking $300 light.
Well, when are you gonna buy the Fluval?
I'm not buying any right now. Hanging over that tank's 30 inches deep. It has a 7,000 Kelvin LED work light from my garage.
Which tank is it?
It's a corner tank. It's like a hexagon, and then it's flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's that freaking tall, man.
That's like that one I got over here.
And it looks good with that one $20 shop light or work light hanging over it.
Well, a lot of people use those.
I'll leave it on there for a while, see how I like it. I gotta go let this whiny dog out. Whiny dog. Good whiner.
There's Jeff standing in the corner again.
Yeah. Still be
What
nice.
you printing now?
Right now it's another test of reader box, and I'm working on making a adjustable algae scraper.
Adjustable algae scrapers.
Yeah, plastic ones.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. It's like your egg scrapers.
Yeah, their racks are too tight, so I need it more adjustable.
There's the ones that Higer has, the carbon fiber cleaning tools. The only reason I really like those is because of the adjustable head on the filter pad. It has that adjustable head to get behind stuff. But that was another thing back in the day when I used to aquascape my tanks so much. I had to learn how to aquascape them so that I could still clean my glass if I wanted to, without tearing everything up. What works for me now lately is honestly I'll take one of the regular 3D nets, the telescoping 3D nets, and I'll just use the net
On the glass.
Scrape glass.
on my glass.
Oh, whatever works.
Right? You know, when you're short on funds, you make what you have work.
That's right.
Yep. Poor men have poor ways.
Sponsored by Do It Myself.
Yep.
That's why we're discussing under gravels and box filters instead of
Right?
$300 canisters.
And that's one of those things that I still see people, the traditional setups that I'm seeing that's really going strong is with a big giant under gravel filter box, a double sponge filter, and maybe a thin layer of substrate, or they might have a 1/2 inch layer of substrate. And I look at that filter box and I'm sitting there going, when you have that much substrate in it, I'm sorry, I just don't see that one little hose cooling enough once it gets dirty, you're going to have to change that out. I mean, and I'm okay with changing it out into filter boxes because, like I said, it's small, compact, and I'm getting about 6 to 8 months out of each one, and that's pretty good for 3 cups of substrate.
Yeah, you're not dumping 2 or 3 bags in there.
Yeah, and the only reason I'm changing them out is not because my buffering capacity has reduced and I'm starting to see high pH. No, I change it out because it looks dirty. I can tell the filter pads that I use.
Yeah.
It's dirty. It needs to be cleaned out. And it works for fish too. Like you said, you could do it with the sponges in it and put your guppies in there and
Are you
raise
just
your
doing the
fish or whatever.
filter pad, or
What was that, Jeff?
are you just doing the filter pad, or are you doing the carbon or the substrate too, like the Blue Bull, etc.?
With my Caradinas, I'm doing the substrate, and then
Yeah,
with
are you doing a clean out every 2 months on it, or
no, it's about every 6 to 8 months.
okay? That
Yeah,
sounds about normal.
Yeah, and it lasts pretty long. And like I said, it's not because I'm losing buffering capacity. It's just because it gets mucked up, and you could see it. It starts getting clogged. I have one that has the regular filter sponges in it, and for my Neo tank, and the bubbles start coming out the side instead of going up through the tube. And I sit there and I think that's one of the flaws that I think happens with double sponge filters. Just like with hang on back, just like any filter, once it gets clogged up and the water's going around everything to get there,
It's
then
time to clean them.
yeah, and the same thing happens with double sponge filters, but it happens a lot faster than I think people think, to where it's no longer sucking water through the sponges, it's just bubbling out the tube.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I like about the box filters is I can reach in there and just pull them out by the hose.
Yep.
And it doesn't leave a big old mess in the tank.
Nope.
Yep.
Like a sponge filter that goes.
Especially the
Yeah.
coarse sponges. I'm sorry, but I picked one. Jason used to have those in the shop, and I was like, I need to clean that aquarium, and I'd pull up that sponge and it instantly walk in my aquarium, and I'm like, ah.
Yeah, I don't care for the coarse ones either.
Yeah.
I've got a couple coarse intake sponges, and I hate cleaning them every time I do. I just stick a bag over them.
I
'Cause
cut
I
them
know
up and I
they're
put
just-
them in my I cut them up and put them in my Python so they don't suck up fry.
Oh, that's a good idea. Just like the Easy Flow thing Corey come out with. I'm not a real
like
big
Easy
fan of
Flow.
it.
Yeah, it works good for my water.
He
The
came out with
collar,
he came
the
out with
collar.
He came out with another one with a different sponge on it, with a finer.
It's
Oh.
a fine sponge, and it's not green anymore either.
Yeah, it's black.
I'll say that one boy. It seemed like within 3 weeks the collar is plugged up on mine.
Yeah, I'm running. I don't have a problem with the collar. I slapped one on a filter box.
Hey, Brenton,
Rear bottom Brayton.
makes the fishy world go round.
I sometimes just think we overcomplicate it, you know.
Oh yeah, we definitely overthink stuff.
Absolutely.
I'm guilty of it. Trust me, I am guilty of it myself. Before my house fire, I had canister filters, I had hang on back filters, I had all kinds of lights
Sumps.
and CO2 diffusers and all this stuff. And then the house burned down, and it was 2 months of no electricity and no lights and anything in that house. And the aquariums that I left set up, that stuff survived. 2 months later, stuff was still alive. Plants were still healthy. The shrimp, the fish, they were breeding. And I was just like, you mean I don't need all of that stuff?
No, you never have.
Nope.
And
I'm
that,
picky about my lights, but that's just because I like how they function.
yeah. And I even now still I'm picky about my lights. I use the Phoenix 24/7. I just like them. They work for me. They do everything I want them to. So I like them. I'll spend the extra money, but yeah, you don't need all that crazy stuff. That's why I'm like, so I've learned to simplify it as much as possible. That was why I got really big on the keep it shrimple and stick to the basics. And yes, I know parameters are important and all that fun stuff, but again, don't overcomplicate it. It's nature. Let it be.
Exactly.
That's why I tell everyone when you walk in here, there might be 100 fish in that tank and a half-inch of mulm. But that's the way they like it.
And
Mhm.
the mulm is the key.
If it's too pristine, then they don't make baby. So,
I used to fear glass bottom tanks, and now I love it because I can see my tank. And if I get mulm, I'm not worried about it because the shrimp come in and they clean it all up and it's gone. You know, every once in a while, if I only have a couple of shrimp in the tank, it might be too much for the shrimp to keep up with it. So I help it out a little bit and I take out, a little bit manually. But that's how I kind of gauge. Once I see it disappearing on its own, then I know it's a good balance.
Yep.
I need to figure out how to sell it.
How
What,
to sell
mulm?
My wife is a school teacher, and she will bring like milk jugs, empty milk jugs or water jugs. And she's like, "Well, get your siphon and fill my bottles." And she takes them back to the school for all the other teachers to water their plants. And I'm like, "Hey, that's like $1 a jug, right?" I've got
Curtis,
$1.
LRB was selling bags of mulmy water.
Oh yeah.
Well, Michael's Fisher was
Water,
selling
people buy it.
sponges.
Yeah.
He was selling dirty sponges. So
Yeah.
Yep.
get out of there.
Man,
dude.
I hate that he closed his fish room down.
Yeah.
That sucks. There's mother fish.
Thanks,
Mike-
sir.
Michael was good just to listen to what he was going to say.
Yeah,
Oh,
you never
especially
do.
when he'd get on them rants. Oof.
Oh yeah.
Calm down, dude, before you have another heart attack.
That's why I sent him messages when he had his heart attack and had his surgery. I was like, dude, man, been there, done that. Just stay calm, relax. And then he did a video soon after that. I was talking, and I saw him get a little riled up, and I was sending him a message. I'm like, relax, man. Don't let that blood pressure get to you.
No doubt.
Yeah, 'cause it gets you quick.
Yeah. Yes. I think
Hey, Moose.
Thursday when I streamed, I think I got a little passionate when we got on the discussion about parameters and blah blah blah.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you what my parameters are except it's hard water. I know that.
I get it, I understand it, but I've spent pretty much my entire working career troubleshooting and diagnosing situations, whether it's systems, machines, whatever it is that I'm doing. And it's usually the simplest things that are the issues. And the same thing applies with aquariums. Same thing applies in life. I'm not feeling good today. Well, what's the temperature outside? And what's your calorie intake? What are your current parameters? No, man. It's the same thing with your aquariums, and sometimes it's not all just about the parameters. Sometimes it's the simplest thing.
Yep.
There are some things that are more sensitive, but I think
Yes.
people overdo it.
Trust me, I get it. Like I said, I've been there, done that. I've tried every different way because I want to know why. Why is it important? Why does it matter? And I learned the hard way. Okay, that's why it matters. But I'm not going to make that my sole focus. because especially with shrimp, I think people are scared of shrimp because of all of the focus on parameters.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
especially Caradina. Everybody's like, "Oh, you got to be an expert."
Well, that's why I was like, look, you put substrate in a box and you put that in your aquarium, and look.
hmm
Things happen. It's like magic.
Yeah, when I had them, I started all RO with what is it, salty shrimp,
hmm
and after a while, I gave that up too, and I just started mixing tap with it until you get where you want to be.
And that's one of the things. I may be comfortable, especially with my Neos, taking regular tap water, throwing a few drops of prime, and adding that to my Neo tank. And I have no issues with that. As a matter of fact, I recommend it to myself because I think they need those minerals that come along with it. But my Caradinas, yeah, it's always RO water, salty shrimp, and I just get it to a nice number that I'm comfortable with on my TDS, 120 to 150.
Yeah.
And then I go from there. And I wait.
You got June,
Sometimes I
she's a
don't-
cereal.
Sometimes I don't even wait. Sometimes I throw shrimp as soon as I set it up. But I know if I lose shrimp, maybe I didn't let it cycle long enough.
I'll call you Papa Shrimp for nothing.
It's all in good fun.
Oh yeah.
I want to get back into breeding some black rams, but I'm kind of,
Hey Cheryl.
if I get some black rams, now that I have family that's living in Tacoma, I'm going to see if they can, make a visit to Aquarium Co-op whenever Dean puts some black rams up in there.
I believe Dean's out of black rams now. I think he quit breeding them.
Did he?
Yeah.
The
Yeah, he wasn't
I
making
talked-
nothing on them.
Last time I talked to him, he was, because I asked him, I said, what does a guy like me got to do to get some of your black rams? And he was like, I don't know, I've got to talk to Corey. I was like, why?
Because he wouldn't shit. I tried to.
Yeah. And then he came back the next day at Aquashella. He was like, yeah, I talked to Corey, man. If you want some, you got to come up to Washington. I was like, damn it.
Well, who do we know?
Right.
Who do we know in Washington?
Well, if they still existed, it'd be worth it. But I don't think that his personal line is left.
Tristan. Tristan is Tristan's Tropical Tanks. Illinois, I think.
I know there's a local guy here that started breeding rams, and he had black ram. I had a couple pair of his. Very, very, very nice. And he said he just did it the Dean method.
Yeah,
he had
the
all
local
kinds of
store to me is doing the or selling the blue blacks as blacks.
I like the blue blacks too.
They are, but it's not the
Angels.
same. The price shouldn't be the same, but it is.
The first time I got blue blacks, it cost me $95 each.
Woo!
That was right before the house fire. Had him in my aquarium, and I worked a deal with the guy. I ended up going back and talking to him, and he gave me 2 more for like $80.
Where'd you get them from?
It was called the Pet.
Wasn't
Pet
Shenandoah? Shenandoah had some really nice black rams, but he quit and deleted his YouTube channel, or deleted all of his content at least. Really
Wow.
unfortunate. I liked him.
They got a short lifespan though. That's the only
Yeah.
thing. That's the only downside.
Oh, aren't the black rams supposed to be a lot meaner than the rest of them? by reputation.
Yeah, that's been my experience.
Sort of the Black Angels, but
Actually, the Angels aren't as bad as the Rams.
My Angels
At
aren't
least
bad.
for me.
They're by themselves, so they only got each
yeah,
other.
mine are too. But I haven't found them any worse than any other angel.
So is the clown killies the only killies you're going to get involved in, or are you going
Yes, because
You're a
I'm
shrimp
a
guy.
nut, man. You know, and it's already blew up from just, oh, clown killies, they're little nano fish. I just need, a little bitty tank and start breeding them. And then it exploded to where they were like in 12 tanks. It was like, crap. And now I have too many of them. So I'm like, if it's anything that I get into and they start working, then it's like I end up with too many of them. So yeah, I gotta, tap the brakes and just focus instead of trying to have too many of everything. Just focus on what I do have and try to make them the best and the prettiest.
So maybe,
There's
maybe
still
I'll
a market.
maybe I'll have to get some of them from you.
Yeah, I know that Pile Aquatics, he wants some of my clown killifish so he can take them to the National Fish Convention. He was like, man, you got some of the nicest ones around, so I want to take some of yours.
Are you going to make your way over to San Antonio?
I want to. I'd love to go down there and see if I can run into Dave and get me some Neolamprologus. I need some cutapunks, man. I love them fish.
Probably. I'm going to be there. There'll be a lot of people there.
Yeah, I would like to.
Fish Tank Barn told me he's going to be there.
Ooh.
I've never met him.
We've had him on.
Never
That
met
guy,
him.
man. You talk about quite some oddball fish.
The mutt shrimp explosion. I'm surprised that I have green shrimp now from just forgetting about my orange shrimp and the one cherry shrimp that was in the tank with it. And then they went wild, so I kind of ignored them even more. And the next thing you know, I started seeing green ones. And since I'm red-green colorblind, my son was the one who was like, that's a really cool green shrimp, Dad. I was like, I've been looking at that thing wondering if that was green or not. So thank you for telling me. But now I got tons of them. Now I'm starting to separate those so that, again, I'm taking tanks, I'm repurposing, cleaning them out, and then trying to decide whether I'm keeping the substrate or going to go glass bottom. But in cleaning, and I'm interested to ask any of you guys with your fish racks and everything. So,
Hey, Jose.
have you ever noticed that how dirty the tanks get on the outside? Especially if you've had the tank sit in the same spot for a really long time in a rack.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the sides and on the back because you spilled
Yeah.
water and
Yeah.
calcium and
I don't live there, so we're all good.
Yeah, well, because I started, as I've been resetting my tanks and I empty them out, I'm like, well, don't just leave them in there and try to clean them while they're there on the rack. Take them off, stupid, and wash them off. And I've noticed how dirty they are. So it's kind of one of those things that it's like when I reset my tanks, I'm kind of like, it's refreshing my fish room by cleaning all of the tank instead of just the inside.
No, if I do pull a tank, I do wipe them off. But if it's stained in the back or whatever, I'm not too concerned about it. As long as it can't get into the tank.
well, and some of them like this rack, they're butted up against each other. So
Right.
that's to drain them all the way down, pull them off, clean them, very carefully slide them back in.
Well, that's why after being traumatized from big tanks at Ohio Fish Rescue, yeah, that's why I have all Lano tanks, 20s or smaller.
Right.
I do want a big tank for myself, like a 60 breeder or something.
Yeah, 60 is nice. It makes a nice planted tank.
Yeah.
I still like that 50 low boy.
Yeah, those are cool too. I like my bookshelf aquariums, but I've noticed that they're hard. They're hard to maintain or keep up because they're so shallow. It's like the light. You have to keep the lights balanced properly, or else.
Hey, George.
Yeah, algae goes crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I want to get one of them 12-gallon bookshelves. I like the looks of them.
Yeah. Right now, I have my Snow White shrimp in there. I like it.
It's very hard to be at like an Aquacella and you walk by that booth, and the guy's got like 20 different bookshelf tanks, little tanks, whatever, and you're just like, I could get that in my car. I could get that in my car.
Easily.
And then you look and it's like, oh, $150. Nope. Nope.
I got them from Aquatic Life, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Aquatic Life. I think that's what the brand name is. And I saw them, and as they were flying off, the shelf really fast, I was like, well, how much is that one? And he looked up his price list, and he was like, I'll sell it to you for $25. And it was the little 6-gallon one, and I was like, okay, what about the 11-gallon one? And he was like, I'll sell that one to you for $35. And I was
Holy
like,
crap.
okay. And I was like, you got any more
Like
16 gallons?
It was like $100.
Nope. He was like, that's the last 16. So I just took those two, and I was like, woohoo! I scored for $60. I got 2 bookshelf aquariums.
That last 11-gallon or 11 or 12-gallon I looked at was like $125.
Yep.
It was like, holy crap, for a little tank like that, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, but it's true. The great big shows, they don't want to haul that stuff back.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
The last Aquashell I went to was 2022. There was a guy who had used tanks. I don't know if you saw him over there, but they were like 6-footers and 8-footers and huge tanks. He was right up against the door where you went out to the parking lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I saw that guy, but I didn't pay attention because it looked like used stuff.
It was like a used 250-gallon tank for $400. I was just like, I'm glad I drove the car. I'd be in trouble.
Yep.
If I drove the truck, I'd have had straps over holding everything in.
Yeah.
40 gallons are good too. Yes.
Yep.
I still don't have one of those, and I need to get one because they're shallow.
I've been helping
Which
my
one?
buddy.
A 40.
I've been helping my buddy.
Long or breeder?
Okay.
I'll take either one.
And say, I got a 40 long and a 40 breeder, and I like the 40 long better than I do the breeder.
Ooh, that'd be nice. Yeah, 40 long.
Yeah, it's the same length as a 55, right? Or short.
Just shorter. Same length and width, it's just shorter. I think it's like 6 inches shorter.
I
The
kind of like
33?
shorter tanks.
Like the 33 long, it's the same length and width as the 40 long. It's just 4 or 5 inches shorter.
I haven't been able to find a 33 long. I'd love to have a 33 long.
I had 2 of them at one time, and I got rid of both of them. Now I wish I hadn't.
Yeah.
I got one. I've got one now, but the bottom's busted out of it.
That's like a 15. 15s were always kind of a cool little tank too.
Yeah, got one right down there.
You can't find them anywhere.
15 standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
bought a
they're
15 and 20 bolt on
They're
one
bigger than
stand.
little bit bigger than that 10.
but shorter than a 20.
Yeah, but not quite a 20 tall.
Same
They like to
dimension,
make
just
those
shorter.
16s in cubes. The 16-gallon cubes. That's the popular shrimp
Yeah.
tank.
Well, you guys heard that Petco's not going to be selling Aqueon anymore, right?
They're
The
not-
hell was they
not.
switching over to?
To their brand, that Imaginarium
Oh,
garbage.
yeah.
Because there's people saying that the January sale is still on until they get rid of all the tanks, and then they're going to get some different.
So that one I was in here a while back, they didn't have much left.
Mine never does.
How much does it add to your electric bill?
I don't know. I like the thicker glass aquariums. The ones that I've been seeing lately, whether it's UN or JBJ or Aquatic Life, they got the 1/4-inch glass panes.
You gotta have that old Oceanic I got out there.
Oh no. What's
The
it?
bottom of it's like an inch thick.
Ooh.
And the wall and all the glass, the sides are probably 1/4 inch. You talk about a heavy tank. Whew.
I keep thinking if you can't get decent tanks, we could all just start building them.
Trust me, I've
Pretty
thought about
much.
that too.
I think about it all the time with some plywood and a piece of glass. I'll make my own 16-gallon cubes for $30.
Well, that 75 I got out there with the bottom broke out of it, that's what it's going to become, is a plywood tank.
I'm always thinking, how hard could it be? I used to machine and program machines and do all this aerospace stuff. How hard could it be to build a box?
Especially if it's acrylic, because that glue is super easy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you only want a 1/4 inch, you can buy that at Home Depot, like a 3x3 piece.
Yeah.
Hardest part's cutting it. Got to have a super, super fine blade.
No bad thing about acrylic is it scratches easy.
Yeah.
That's the problem with that one my brother's got. That thing is acrylic, and oh my god, it scares the hell out of me every time we do something in there. But ain't gonna worry about it for a while. Till he gets back from overseas.
So which shell dweller are you wanting? You're wanting the punks?
Yeah.
Trying to think who else has those.
Connell Punks.
I know Dave's. I originally got mine from Dave's Rare Fish out in San Antonio.
Mhm.
And I think he's probably going to be there. And Jason was the one that had referred him to me way back in the day. And I think the first pair that I found at the pet store. I just liked them because they had blue eyes, and I saw them go from being, their cream colored to stripes, black stripes formed, and I was like, wow, that's cool. That fish changes. And I didn't realize they were shell dwellers. I didn't realize they would stay small like that, and then I fell in love. So they were basically the first cichlids that I owned.
Yeah, that's why I like my multis. They just stay small
Mm-hmm.
and breed up a storm.
Yeah, I love watching the way they glide through the water. They don't swim; they glide. It's so unique.
Yep.
But again, I'm a geek that way, and then I ended up having one aquarium with catapunks, and then I had 2 aquariums, and then I had 3 aquariums, and I had to get a 40 breeder, and
Well, going down the road again.
yeah. That's why somebody asked me once, they were like, you want to get a betta? And I was like, no, because then I'll end up with like 400 jars of bettas. No. I'm an addict, obviously.
Yeah, every time I see one of those setups, it just makes me tired. I just look at it and I'm just like, oh, hell no. Hell no. I'm not cleaning 100 jars.
It's bad enough what I do with my aquariums and my shrimp, man. You know? But it's nice to look at you guys' stuff and go, see, I'm not the only fiend.
You're not the only-
You all got problems too.
That's why we get together every week for our little support group.
Right?
Oh,
The hell are you doing, Jeff?
new local Austin is here.
He's printing.
He's probably gonna have to print me some Pleco caves or something pretty soon.
My son has an amazing setup, and it's so underutilized. And I wish I knew more. You know, that drives me crazy too. Again, being in mechanical engineering and programming computers and CNC machines, but I never relied. Everything was hand drawn. Everything was by hand in my time, not by computers. So the fact that I don't know enough CAD to be able to go and make my own wireframe models on be able to print, that makes me a little bit sad. But I'd love to play with my son's machine. It's got the multicolored spools and everything.
I think everything I ever made on a lathe and a mill, I just got a drawing on a clipboard.
Yep.
Yep.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing was
You hear
programmed. Nothing was programmed in. I had to have my micrometer and measuring it myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. When I started with my Warner Swayze manual lathes and everything, and I, doing all my stuff, and they put a CNC machine in there, and I started having to figure that thing out. Once I realized that the code was just everything that I was doing manually, it was like, oh, I just got to learn the code, and then push a button and then make it do what I did myself.
And you're off to the races. That's how that water jet we had was.
Yeah.
Put in a program, hit go, and let her rip.
I'd have a lot of people come apply for, a machinist spot at my shop. And they were like, well, you have Mastercam or Gibbs Cam or any of that? And I'm like, no. And they were like, well, how do you program the machines? I was like, here's my pen, and here's my paper, and here's my trig cheater book.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know how to figure that out? Look at the machinist handbook, and it gives you all of your formulas, and then you write it, and then you type it into the machine.
Yeah.
God, that shows my age, doesn't it?
That's all right. We fit in with you, so
We know how it is.
we're right there with you.
That's like
Fortunate or
my-
un-
Go ahead, Jeff.
fortunate or unfortunate, we're there.
Yeah, we're there.
Right?
One way or another.
Yeah.
Like when I used to build water tanks and stuff for the military, they brought us in a robotic welder. for doing bulkheads. And they took one of the guys off the line and said, here, learn how to run this. This is what it does. And walked off. So he wound up going up to HR, getting one of them to come back. Can you show me how to do? Well, yeah, all you do is put this in here and hit this button, and then if it doesn't run the weld right, you got to grind it back out and re-weld it. Why don't I just do it myself? Well, this is faster. How's it faster? We got to redo it. Hey, Bunny.
And we used to make hydraulic cylinders, and the butt end, the bottom, was welded onto the tube.
Mm-hmm.
So this engineer guy makes his own machine where it spins that tube at a certain RPM, so that, you could wire feed as it was turning.
Yeah.
He came down the shop about a week later, and he's like, "Well, where's that table at?" I was like, "Oh, it's outside." We're just rolling them on the edge of the bench by hand,
We had big ones for doing them giant tanks. We'd set that tank on there and it just barely creep.
Yeah, and you could adjust it so you could match your bench.
Yep. Some guys used them, some guys didn't.
Yeah. I never did. We didn't make any big ones. The biggest ones we made were 8-inch diameters.
Yeah, but some of the tanks we were building, you could drive a semi inside of.
Yeah. I didn't mess with that.
I did some consulting at a shop where they did the big giant cable spools.
Mm-hmm.
So it was weird because I was so used to making airplane parts that were like small, and I have to send them to mag particle inspections and such to get tested, blah, blah, blah. It's aerospace stuff. But I didn't figure for these big cable spools that they use, for the big giant cables, I didn't figure that they had to be, they got to be mag particle inspected because they got to make sure all of the welds for all of the supports and of everything has to be perfect because they're putting these things out with tons and tons of pressure on them. That was crazy to see them weld those things. It was crazy to machine those things.
Oh, yeah. We used to build parts for power plants. Every weld was x-rayed. Every weld was bend tested. Yeah, those were fun.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Thank you, Sam.
Jake and Katie.
That's cool.
Yeah, a lot of them, you get them inspectors in there and they'll drive you nuts sometimes.
I think this big Steve character here, our buddy, I think he might have your coddle punks.
He might.
I think he does. Because I could have swore he had them at one of the auctions.
We were selling them at Jason's shop, and when he moved his shop, that was the end of my line that I had.
He does.
He does have them.
Ooh.
And he ships.
There you go.
Let me get a tank ready.
So the shrimp can go over here.
I was trying to think of who had him, and then I saw his name in the chat, and I was like, he's got him. I know that.
They're pretty fish.
Because Vibe's got some. That's right. Vibe's got some.
Yeah, and I was going to do some guppies because I have some Vienna guppies that, again, I started with only 3 of them, and now I have tons of them. And I was going to do, I cleaned them up. I as far as they're no longer spitting out blue ones or, a random green one or whatever colors they were coming out. Now they're all coming out Vienna guppies. not so much rainbowed.
There you go, Jerry.
There you go.
He's wanting PBLs.
Ooh, there we go. Yeah, we can definitely work a deal.
There you go.
I have to hit you up because I definitely am interested. But yeah, now I'm off. Squirrel.
Guppies.
Don't do that to me.
Guppies.
Yeah, the guppies. But my buddy, since I'm helping him set up his aquarium, which is funny because it's my old aquarium from the house fire. He took a bunch of my aquariums that I didn't sell off or whatever that still saved, and one of them was a 38-gallon bow front. So I helped him reset it and get it set up. And I was looking at it and I was like, I forgot how big that aquarium is and how you could put big giant pieces of driftwood and rocks in there, and then it's like it's only full this much. It's like, no wonder I had big giant boulders in there. But it's fun seeing my stuff from back then being
Somebody else using it.
Yeah. And seeing him being all excited, oh, give me some shrimp. I want some shrimp. And let's go get some plants. And then my nephew, too, he's the same way. He got some shrimp from me. And then one tank turned into 2 tanks. And he's probably gotten about 70 to 80 shrimp from me.
Just kind of reinvigorated you, didn't it, Jerry?
Oh, yeah. All of it does. And then I've heard a lot of people, which is weird, for not being streaming and being out of it for the past couple of years, oh, you're Papa Shrimp. Yeah, I watch your channel. And I'm like, you're so-and-so's cousin and you watch my channel? Yeah, I watch you all the time. I'm like, my roommates, co-workers, they watch me. And I'm like, how did that happen?
Well, that's like I said, we had Rocco. Rocco was my first guest. He thought he'd deleted his Rocco's Fish Room channel, but it's still going.
That's cool.
And now he's getting revenue off of it now, finally. And he doesn't even use it.
Yeah,
he's got his new channel. He's got his new channel going. So
yeah, I got
that's
my
helping
drum.
him.
I'm trying to do that too, and do more stuff with my drumming. Doing my shrimp channel now has given me a whole different perspective on my real passion with drums. And when I think about how I would do videos for the drum channel, it makes me go, I'm kind of hypocritical because that's not how I am with the aquarium hobby. I'm all like, keep it simple. But if I was doing drums, I'd be all technical and it's got to be this and precise and accurate and
Just
blah,
put
blah,
you in
blah.
overhead.
Yeah.
Moose wanted to know how you're keeping planaria away.
With no planaria. That's what I use. And I am very careful about what I bring into my fish room. So if it's coming from an outside source, from another tank, if it's
Quarantine.
yeah, I go through a quarantine process with my mosses. Now, if it comes from like mypetshrimp.com or comes from Grant and Shelby and them, I know they don't have any of that stuff going on. So I'm pretty okay with it. But I still like to dip my plants and mosses in a no planaria and bendazole bath before they go in my tanks. Maybe I trained the shrimp to play a little drums.
That could be in your little flip book.
Yeah.
It's a lot of this comes from my son. My youngest son is the one that's always been pushing me, whether it was back 15 years ago to start a cooking channel or whether it was to do drum channel, or then especially with the aquariums, he finally talked me into starting my Papa Shrimp channel. And he's been a lot of my inspiration lately. Just like when he said you should do a video a day on a different section of your racks. He goes, you have 7 racks, then do 7 videos for 1 week. He's like, I challenge you. And I started to try to do that. And then as I got through it, I started noticing stuff I wanted to fix with my racks. And then so it was kind of like squirrel. And now I've gone kind of a different direction. But at the same time, I'm updating all my racks. So it's still fun.
Plus, you're still live streaming too.
Yeah, and that's because it's so hard to make a video and then edit it and get it out and say what I'm trying to I'm thinking random thoughts sometimes. So it's a lot easier just to stream and hang out and talk about it.
It's more fun.
Yep. That's why we do this.
It's more fun.
That's why we do this instead of making videos. I might put a short out, but that'd be about it.
I'm too picky with my videos. I've noticed. I mean, I like what I've learned and the little fun stuff, but I noticed that a video that should take me 30 minutes to edit and publish
Takes you 3 hours.
8 hours. I'm like, wait, no, I got to get this transition just right. Oh, wait, now where's that picture that I want to add in there? And then I search for 30 minutes trying to find where I put it.
God.
Yeah, we just stick Jeff in a corner back there and just let him stay.
I'm behind. I gotta get stuff done.
The stuff you showed last night was pretty nice.
What did I show last night?
The stuff sitting right there in front of me. I can see it on your table.
Oh yeah, down there. Yeah. Yeah. That's not ready for close-up publicly yet.
Yeah. He's figured out how to put names and stuff when he 3D prints something, he can put his name or your name or whatever. So you could have some.
Yeah, I've seen his Pleco caves that had names on them.
You could have some Papa Shrimp Pleco caves or Papa Shrimp caves.
That's cool. It's a good
If I
thing.
would-
It's a good thing to figure out.
If I was doing it, I'd have to write it in a marker.
What's the once you
Yeah.
get the program
Me too.
set, then it's not so bad.
Jeff's
Jeff's in his corner of shame.
His corner of shame. Wow. Anybody need a dog?
Eh.
No.
They hang out in my fish room, and you should see when
Which
I
one
got the. Huh?
Which one are you trying to get rid of?
All of them.
Right.
They think they have to help me drag hoses
Then
around.
you just got. Then you got to deal with the cats.
Wow.
No, I evict the cats.
I'm watching that entertainment thing that's going on right now, and it's kind of funny what just happened. I had to go.
Lumi, they've been posting Jerry's links all night long. Maybe
My links or your links?
She knows that.
Your links.
Oh.
Yeah, she knows things.
She knows us. She stayed up till 4 a.m. talking to us.
That could get scary.
She knows that she just sticks around anyway.
There's quite a bit of people in here. That's pretty good. 35.
Yeah, 35.
Oh, no wonder I have it on top chat. I dragged a lurker in here.
Were they kicking and scream? Were they kicking and screaming when you did it?
I lurk all the time because I'm always doing something. I'm out in the garage or doing something, and I got it on, and I'm like, yeah, I'm listening, but I'm not participating.
Yep, I do that quite a bit now too.
That used to back in the day when I first started getting on. I mean, that was like my routine. I'd put it on YouTube, throw on whoever's streaming or videos that are playing, and get to work in my fish room.
Yep. Helps time go by
Yeah.
and get some watch hours.
And sometimes you learn things.
Sometimes
Sometimes.
you watch us, you learn don't watch us.
Every once in a while, you'll get a little bit of information.
Yeah, once in a while.
I mean,
Where I'll be sitting there and I'll hear somebody say, well, you can't do this. And I'm like, oh, yeah?
Here, hold my beer.
Let me try.
I like that. I always like that. Or you have to do it this way. Like, really?
This is the only way.
Really?
Yeah.
That's why
Well,
I
bet.
try really hard to say, whatever works for you, I'm just doing, this is what works for me, okay?
What I do may not work for you, but it works for me.
I like to do that and say, yeah, this is the best filtration method and setup for me.
For me.
For me. And for what I'm doing,
Yep.
Take from it what you want to, use it, incorporate it, do it, don't ignore it, laugh at it. I don't care. But look, the proof is in the pudding.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And that's how you keep it a joy of fish keeping, is just whatever works. Don't do it. If it doesn't work, don't do it.
Yep. I've had the sumps. I've had the canisters, and I threw them all away. Didn't need them.
Yeah, and see, we've talked about that. Is like on a great big tank, I like a sump.
Depends on the tank. Like that 310 I had, it was drilled for a sump. And I wound up taking the sump off.
Yeah.
Even though I had that 16-inch Novi in there.
I guess it's because I had the big saltwater tank with the sump, so
Yeah.
sumps don't bother me. I'm not worried about it leaking. All of that,
I've had one. I had one leak.
And that kind of goes back to like Caradina shrimp. Everybody's like, oh, they're so hard. Everybody's like, sumps, they're going to leak. They're going to overflow. They're going to do this and that. And I was like, not if somebody tells you a few simple little rules.
I ran some for years, but I just don't care for them.
I overflowed it one time, and that was because I'm dumb.
Yeah.
And after I learned that lesson, I never did it again.
What I did with all the pumps inside the sumps was they went with the tank when I got rid of it. I gave away all the canister filters, except one. That's at ADA, and it's down here as a flower pot.
Yeah, I still have a few canisters. I don't like them though.
I don't like
I
it.
just I overstock the tanks too much, so I still use them.
I used to do hang-on back filters fit into my under gravel filters,
Mhm.
and utilize that. I've tried all kinds of different things, and
I've
and
tried-
really, what's
I've
most
done
effective is just old technology. And it really depends on what you're doing. If you have a tank that has no plants and you have 40 cichlids in it, you probably want to do something that pumps a lot of water volume to help keep the tank clean. But
And it's
It's
got
just-
a
I
Maybe
run
don't-
canisters on under gravel.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I got
Yeah.
going on too.
I'd rather go
I
back
know
to running
Ben
just
Shrimp
air on it.
uses canisters on shrimp, all his shrimp tanks. He uses canister filters, but he uses a double sponge filter for the inlet.
Yeah.
Right. I just went back to air.
Yeah, to me, again, it's all about what works for me, and it's simple. It's easy enough for me to have everything just running off of one linear piston pump, and
Yep.
whatever. If it's not correct for the application, I know it. I either have to work extra hard on my tank, change the water more often, or whatever the case may be. But hey, that's kind of I've finally gotten to a point where I've gotten my fish room to work for me as much as I have to work for it. It's a nice balance. It's self-maintaining other than top offs every once in a while. I change water out a little bit, but it's so much
I
more
got-
fun.
I have plants I need to trim back like crazy.
Tank
Funny.
opening.
Some of them I got to throw away because I got so many of them.
Yeah, I've made a few people mad because they're like, "You threw away a 5-gallon bucket of moss," and it was just like,
Yeah.
"What am I going to do with it in January?" If it was April or May, I'd
Mhm.
send you something, but I'm not doing that in January or February.
I'll have to
Right.
admit that it's nice to get to a point to where I look at one of my aquariums that I've ignored, or haven't taken care of, and I'm like, "Ooh, man, look at all of that algae all over my moss," and that's, I've worked really hard. Oh, but I got 4 other tanks full of it. Okay, dump it in the bucket and out the backyard.
Yep. Yep. I
Yeah.
had that Christmas boss that about took over this 115-gallon. Fish can only swim right in the very front of it.
It's not a bad problem to have though, because you can always
No.
make it how you want it.
Well,
I
I'm supposed to go down to Oklahoma sometime. My cousin set up a tank for her 65-gallon, and I'm gonna take a bunch of these plant trimmings and stuff down there. So I'll get rid of a lot of it that way. And if she kills them, hey, it didn't cost her anything.
Yeah. Mr. Fathom.
People are funny.
Which ones?
All of them.
Right?
You aquarium people are funny. Oh wait, I'm one of you too.
And so you fit in that category too, Jerry.
Yeah, I know.
So even though you've been gone for a while, you still fit in that category.
Yeah. Well,
But
isn't that
it's
crazy?
good to see you back though.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It feels good. I've missed everybody. I've missed the chats, and just like I said, I've kind of just went into my room and dug my head in it and just really relearned to have fun, not take it so seriously. And that's just, I want to be able to share. I want to talk about it more. And like I said, the video format, I enjoy making videos, but I enjoy this because you just get to chat and hang out. And, that's something that I miss from just locking myself in my fish room and taking care of that part.
Well, that's kind of why I sent you that invite to join us. I figured, hey, Jerry'd be a good one to have hang out with us and kind of catch up.
Yeah. I appreciate it, man.
And even when I talked to you in Dallas, I think I talked to you for like 5 minutes. Out of 2 days, I think it was 5 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
You were slinging fish and slinging shrimp and handing out stickers and
running around like a chicken with your
I
head
was
cut
like,
off.
I'm not gonna screw up their business, so I'm just gonna wander off.
Yeah, it was crazy that Aquashella. It was, but I had a blast. But now I know I didn't get to enjoy Aquashella. I worked Aquashella.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that I've learned over the years is, as much fun as that was, I'd rather enjoy Aquashella than work it.
Well, now you could.
Yes. And
Well,
and right now I'm trying to get in touch with Rob and Grant and the powers that be to make sure that everything is being organized and planned now for the American Shrimp Contest in May, because I'd like to help since it's here local. And I know they're busy with their booths and their other contests and their speaking engagements and, autograph signing and whatever may be happening. So let me help and make that thing go as smooth as possible, because I think that's a really cool part of what happens at Aquashella that you don't get in the other.
Your buddy's up there helping you now, Curtis.
yeah, he's always helping me.
That the one that drinks out of the tank?
He drinks out of the tubs. He thinks that's his fish bowl or his water bowl.
Personal water bowl.
The goldfish are funny though because they're smarter than he is. They let him start drinking and then they splash him. They're like, "Get the heck out of here!"
That's like a cat that I had before this one. He used to get up on top of that 310 with a dove eye. And he tried reaching in there and grab him. One day he turned around and had his tail hanging down. That dove eye grabbed him. Pulled him in the water. He didn't get up there no more after that.
I bet not. I got to watch this guy when I'm outside because I do have the pond outside,
Yeah.
and he will be in the pond.
He like water.
Yeah, he's not doing anything. He's not tearing anything up, but he's in the water just looking at me like, "Look at me. I got my own swimming pool."
Yeah.
As he's knocking over the water lilies and everything else that's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Get your big ass out of there, you dummy.
Grabs the hose and pulls the pump out.
He's never done that. He likes the water, though.
Artsy sock. Oh, God.
What?
Sarah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you've met Sarah yet, Jerry.
Sarah the Great.
She's
I don't think so.
you got
She's
to
an
go watch,
Aussie.
you got to go watch some of her videos because she puts on like these other voices, like her fish are talking and stuff. They're hilarious, man.
She's an Aussie.
They're hilarious. Because
Yeah, she's
the fish are
she's
talking
something
about
else.
her. The fish are like, "Oh, here she comes again. Let's hide. Let's get away from this crazy woman." Blah blah blah.
What's weird is that when I, taking a step back from everything and the whole YouTube scene for a while and then coming back into it, I'm seeing a lot of new people that I've never met before or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
New channels that are starting. And that's kind of cool to still see that people are trying to, start channels and keep channels going. And people that have been doing it for a little while are starting to see a little success and stuff. So, kudos to all you fish tubers.
Well, that's not like me. I've been around for, 3-4 years on YouTube, but I just started streaming about, a year ago, Curtis?
Yeah, probably.
So,
And I don't do anything. I just hang out on everybody's streams.
yeah, you're super mod.
Yeah, that's why I've never been real upset or disappointed with the slow growth of my channel and that I've been doing it for this long and I just now hit 1,000. I like it better that way because I think I like the organic growth. To me,
Yeah,
every
it's like
person,
me. I
I'd
don't.
rather
I don't.
earn every subscriber than just, buy them or
Yep.
whatever other people do.
That's me. I don't push anything. I'm not. The channel grows when it grows.
Mm-hmm.
It can grow however fast or slow it's going to grow. It'll
But
get
I
there
do
when it
enjoy
gets it.
hearing that, oh, you're Papa Shrimp. And I was like, see, that means that you know the name, but you don't know who the hell I am. That's cool. I'll take that.
Well, it's like that first stream you did here a while back. I was like, holy shit, that's damn Papa Shrimp's back.
It feels good, man. Y'all are all good people. I love it.
We try. Some days.
Depends on who you ask.
I don't know
Yeah,
about
too.
that Stephen P guy though.
Yeah.
He's got Jenna to keep him in line, so that's a good.
Yeah, that's true. True that.
Somebody's got to keep him in line.
All right.
Steven probably thinks that our tanks are terrible because, like, you're a big hooker moss person. And I've got pounds of Christmas moss that, just let the fish breed in them, let the shrimp breed in it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no real planting going on. There's no real CO2 going on. There's no real nothing going on.
Nope.
That's funny.
Well, he ain't goofy.
Is he one of the dwarfs?
Which one?
So you're getting your merch now? Where is it coming from? Teespring or?
Right now, well, yeah, I have stuff on Teespring. The shirts that I have, the few shirts that I have left, I got them from Texas Fish Room a few years back.
Yeah, from Jeff.
Yeah.
Is he still doing stuff?
Oh, yeah. But he's changed his channel to Jeff Does What, and he's really focused on fitness right now.
Okay.
Yeah, he's already got out of lasers and all of that into fitness. So. But he still does the shirts and stuff, right?
Yeah, he still does the shirts and the embroidery.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta do better with that stuff as far as trying to update it. I hadn't looked at my Teespring account ever since 2 years ago, so I went through that not too long ago and I gotta update it. I gotta do a lot of stuff. But again, like I said, right now for me, it's still more about just having fun with everything because it's just so much. Everything is so much more enjoyable that way. It's not a chore to do anything.
That's not work.
Yeah, it's not a chore to. Oh God, I gotta stream again. No, I'm like, oh man, if I get streamed, it's not today's not my day. Well, I'll do a pop up.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I get told all the time, oh, you need to stream more. You need to stream more. It's like, I'll just go when I go.
That was another thing. I didn't realize how much that also, when I started working and my job was, and I was having to try to make sure I got home in time from work so that I could get on the stream and everything. And I was like, it was nice to take a break and stop doing that. And then I kind of got complacent, I guess. I don't know. It was kind of like, well, I'll go back to streaming when I go back to streaming,
Yeah,
I wanted to have something to stream about, not all of the problems I was having with losing all my shrimp and having to rebuild, I wanted to have something to stream about. And now I feel like I do. I have a bunch of stuff to talk about, whether it's my setups, whether it's other people's setups or, the stuff I've learned and how much
things you've changed. And
yeah.
Yeah.
I know, Steven, we're just messing with you. We like to mess with Steven.
Yep. Keeps him on his toes.
Yeah, Steven's a good
That's
guy.
the best part. Everybody doing their thing, and then you combine it. That's the beauty of it, is taking a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and putting your own spices into it. And
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That's like Steven's stream on Monday. A lot of that is. I'm not a plant guy,
Me either.
but I listen to it. Usually, I'm at work. I got my earbuds in. I'm listening, and it was like you said, I might get this little gem, and I get another little gem, and then I put it
Yeah.
to work somewhere.
Yeah,
Right.
you'll get little nuggets here and there.
I try it. May not work for me, but I try it.
Kind of like when we had him on, there was things picked up on different things when we had him on. Like when I had Alex on, I picked up on quite a bit of different things about, Weichers.
if I ever made shrimp food, that's probably what I'd call it: shrimp spice.
Papa Shrimp Blend.
Mm-hmm.
That seems
I
like
remember, when I first started, and I had big goals and aspirations. I remember wanting to do, my own foods. I had even started buying the individual ingredients, like the organic garlics and the spirulina and the mulberry waters and the bee pollens, and I had all of these things that I was going to start making my own blends. But then the more I started using like Shrimp Envy and getting to know Rob and Ree, and just seeing how well their food did and how clean my tanks were, and it's affordable, and I was just like, well, I don't even want to compete with this. I'd rather look.
Support,
It's all
support the little
natural.
guy.
Good stuff. This is great stuff. This is what I use. This is all I use. Now, would I love to work with them and see if we could come up with my own Papa Shrimp blend by Shrimp Envy? Yeah, I'd love to do that, but that's down the road.
the lesser
But it's a
known.
possibility.
The lesser known Spice Girl. That's
Oh,
funny.
boy. Well, guys, I say we call her a night.
Yeah, we can't get that Jeff guy to shut up.
I know it.
Yeah.
Just
I'm hurting
nonstop.
today.
Just nonstop.
He just in there showing off with all his woodworking and everything, making me and my cinder block look bad.
Those cinder blocks drive me nuts, man. I don't get it.
As long as it works.
Yeah, I'm not there. It's not that hard to build a damn stand.
No. I've
No.
done several of them.
Yeah.
I'll do a video on it. Like there's never been one done before.
Here you go.
Yeah, not really. I built a couple of these on Vibe streams, but it wasn't specific. It was just I was on his channel and I was assembling it or cutting it, or
Some of them you were painting up.
yeah, some of them I was standing them, and yeah, it was a process, that's for sure.
Yep. Anyway, I thank everybody for coming in. Jerry, appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having
All
me.
the,
Heck yeah, it was
all
good.
the chatters, moderators. We'll see everybody again next week. Catch you later.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah.